What is a conjugate acid and a conjugate base? And what do the scientists Bronsted and Lowry have to do with this? Let's find out. Johannes Bronsted was a Danish chemist who introduced his theory of protonic acid-base reactions in 1923, simultaneously as British scientist Martin Lowry. Martin Lowry's conclusions about acid-base reactions were derived from his experiments with acid-base reactions and camphor derivatives. In 1947, Johannes Bronsted was elected to Danish Parliament, but died from illness before he was able to serve his term. His election was primarily due to his opposition to the Nazi Party during World War II. Before we get started with an example, we need to define Bronsted-Lowry acids and bases. A Bronsted-Lowry acid is a substance that can donate or lose a proton, while a Bronsted-Lowry base is a substance that can accept or remove a proton. Water is amphoteric, which means it could be a Bronsted-Lowry base or acid. Here we have an example of a Bronsted-Lowry acid and base reaction. Our reactants are water and hydrogen chloride. Our products are hydronium ion and a chloride ion. Take note that the red hydrogen represents the proton that is donated. So hydrogen chloride donates its proton to water, which then becomes a hydronium ion, giving it a positive charge. And the chloride ion now has a negative charge because it's lost its positively charged proton. So in this chemical reaction, water is known as the Bronsted-Lowry base because it will accept the proton and become hydronium ion. Hydrogen chloride is known as the Bronsted-Lowry acid because it donates its proton. The hydronium ion is known as the conjugate acid of H2O, while the chloride ion is known as the conjugate base of HCl. We'll discuss this in the next slides. You may have wondered why I referred to the hydrogen atom as a proton. That's because it only has one proton and one electron. So technically, a hydrogen ion is just a proton. So let's talk about conjugate acids and conjugate bases. A conjugate acid is the molecule or ion that forms when a base accepts a proton. And a conjugate base is the molecular ion that forms when an acid loses its proton. So in the case of this chemical reaction we showed previously, the conjugate acid of water is a hydronium ion. You can see that a base has accepted this proton, the red hydrogen, and you can see in the chloride ion, the acid lost its proton. What are you still doing here? The video's over. Go study.